Here in this lecture, I will talk in detail regarding discrete random variable and how we can find distribution of a discrete random variable based on that. Means definitely the random variable here taking value in a discrete fashion. That means value of random variable you can put in a sequence. So it is all about that. In layman way, it is all about you are able to put value of random variable in a term of sequence. So I can say like this way. So you are putting values of these values are in a single sequence, not like multiple sequence. It would be in a single sequence. So values are in sequence. They are forming a sequence. So whenever I have several times I have already told that when you observe discrete kind of phenomena, you can simply say that there is a specific kind of sequence. So you know about sequence concept from your high school. Also in math one, you might have already seen convergence of sequence or other kind of things. So just recall those things. So it is a very simple from that perspective. Just you try to put in sequential criteria. So it is all about discrete random variable. Okay. So coming to outline of my today's lectures. So today I would like to discuss about discrete random variable and the associated probability distribution that we are calling it probability mass function. So you know that individually if you try to look into people, then every people may behave like from Newtonian perspective. If someone is saying that if you try to observe law of motion, then also law of gravity, then what was the concept of Newton? Newton went through particle approach. That means Newton introduced the concept of point mass. So if there is an object, then their object, then definitely that object can be treated as a point mass by replacing that object with center of mass of that object. So center of mass concept that it says about point mass approach. So point mass equivalent of a body. If you are taking a rigid body, and someone is saying that if I want to apply law of motion to rigid body, then definitely question would be there. Where is the center of mass? So that center of mass, so mass kind of concept is coming. So that's way here discrete random variable, it is taking values in a discrete fashion. That means values are in a sequence. So that it is in a discrete fashion, then definitely you have to introduce probability to each points, each value of those points in the sequence. So if each value are coming there, then those values will act like point mass. So what are the probability of those point mass? So that's why we are calling it probability mass function. So it is very much related with particle theory. You can say that what Newton has introduced. So just try to look into physics as well if you go for a major or deep understanding of probability. So that's where now, second part of this lecture would be some a specific kind of discrete random variable. So here, right now, I'm not going to classify discrete random variable in a very what rigorous way. Just I will come to know whatever example that we have already covered till now. So from those examples, how we can see discrete random variable. So those kind of example I will talk about here as a discrete random variable. How we so and also you will see that what are the interesting application of discrete random variable in those examples. That means I'm not going to introduce in this lecture new example. Only example will come from the previous lectures, but in different way, a different approach. So all about that. Any question? If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going forward. So in between, if you have any question, you may ask. You're free to ask. Otherwise, you can also put your question there in Google Classroom as well. So coming to first part of discrete random variable and probability mass function, I would like to first introduce discrete random variable. What is this? And how it introduce partition in the sample space. So coming to random variable, I had already told that if in general way random variable it defines a function or mapping. In more general way you can say that mapping. So mapping from sample space, you are having a random experiment and you perform that random experiment, and through probabilistic modeling you come across to know sample space with respect to underlying random experiment. Now, once you are having sample space, you are defining a function from sample space omega to r. So that defines a random variable. That function we are calling it a random variable. Now, coming to further categorize those random variables. So a discrete random variable, it is defined as a random variable that assumes value from a countable set. That means it simply says that range of the if range of the random variable it is a discrete, or what is meaning of discrete? That means it is a countable set. So this is omega x. It says that range of random variable, if it is discrete set or a countable set, then we will say that the corresponding random variable would be a discrete random variable. And I had already mentioned that if there is a discrete random variable or discrete set, you can always put that element of that set in the form of sequence. So here coming to range of this x, random variable x, omega x, it happens to be a countable set or discrete set. So that's why we are able to put element of this omega x in the form of sequence. You can say that we are having first element, then second element, then third element, likewise. That there is a proper sequencing criteria. So we are able to do that. So it is overall understanding of discrete random variable. So what we see here, we are interested in finding the probability of events involving a discrete random variable. So here we are interesting. We have to find probability of events of value of random variable which are taking value discretely. That means in a countable fashion. So that is all about. So that means we have to find the probability. What is the probability of x1? What is the probability of x2? What is the probability of x3? Likewise. So that. So if you try to collect that probability and tabulate in a proper way, then we are calling that tabulation of probability. We are calling it distribution of probability. And probability mass, distribution of probability mass, also a representation of probability mass. We are saying that. So since the sample space of this uh, either you can call it omega is a sample space. So correspondingly, the omega x, it happens to be range of random variable also. So you can just you can, in layman way, you can denote omega x is also behaving like sample space. So it happens to be a discrete set because of discrete definition of random variable. We only need to obtain the probability of the events, this kind of event, like a singleton kind of event, x1, x2, point-wise event, point-wise or sequential event, xk. So the xk, definitely it will have a pre-image in the sample space that we are calling it omega. So AK is associate event in the sample space in the underlying experiment. So we can, you always, I told that dealing with random variable is one kind of indirect approach, but it is very interesting. The probability of all events involving X can be found from the probability of a case, those are coming from the sample space. And hence, the probability mass function of a discrete random variable, it can be defined as like this way. So if some X is one value of the random variable, suppose X is one, this X is an arbitrary value of random variable, then how can we find the probability of that arbitrary value of random variable? So see the notation here. So this one is probability mass function. This one is very specific and standard notation. You should remember that. So P is talking about probability mass function. X is related with the corresponding random variable. Small x is one particle value of the random variable x. One particle value. So how we define it? It is saying that it is talking about that probability that random variable capital X is taking a particular value x. So this function is defined by this probability. So you know about this probability. Now you try to calculate this probability genuinely. So what you have to do, you have to look back to find probability of the pre-image of x. So what are the pre-image of x? Pre-images are the outcome omega from sample space which has been mapped to the value x, small x. So this is, that's where this a specific value of this probability mass function is actually equal to, it can be defined like this way, for some real number x, for any real number of x you can define like this way. So this function we are calling it. So just focus for the definition perspective, you just focus on our on this part only. So this is the definition of probability mass function. And if you go in much more deeper, then you can say that you can look into sample space like this way. So this is the definition of probability mass function. That means you are trying to, there is a function, you can say that there is a probability mass function, it happens to be function small p x which defined from R to zero 1. The range of probability mass function would be always 0 1. So this is the definition of probability mass function. It happens to be a function. Or what is happened? So you can also define like this way. You know that here probability mass function is taking value discretely only with respect to the values of the discrete random variable. So you can just know from more clear way, if you, things are very much clear to you, you can write it like this way. Probability mass function is actually function from omega x to r, and other values which are not in the range of the discrete random variable, for that probability mass function would be 0, and non-zero value it will be with respect to this point, the points which are coming from omega x. So with respect to that, it will be 0, non-zero, otherwise 0. So that's why you can take domain is R, that probability mass function is defined over throughout R as well. Also, you can say that. Example things should be clear to everyone. So coming further, note that we observe that same thing I had written here. So note that probability mass function, it is a function of a real number, and that can be non-zero only at discrete points. That means the values of random variable, that what random variable is taking value, at those value the probability mass function will be non-zero, otherwise in other value, other real number, it would be 0. It is meaning of that same thing I have written it in a sentence way, so you can focus on this. And now suppose we are coming further to describe this, try to relate it with the partition of sample space. So how discrete random variable bring partition of sample space. So suppose we are taking any general element in omega x, that means range of the discrete random variable, any general element xk in the omega x. Now we have to find value of the probability mass function at xk. So from the definition we know that value of probability mass function at xk is actually what, it is equal to that random variable x is taking value xk. Remember that whatever things I am talking here, listen carefully, every word is having meaning. So I'm trying to talk in a very proper way so that you will get understanding of probability mass function. So here I am saying that probability mass function at point xk, it is defined by, remember that it is defined by probability that a random variable x is taking value xk. And further, if you try to look into sample space, then you have to find the pre-image of xk that happens to be outcome in sample space, and so that's where this probability is equal to probability of all those outcome which has been from the sample space which has been mapped to xk. So that is the criteria of finding value of probability mass function at a point. Okay, so the events, so due to that also, so xk is related to ak, probability of ak. Similarly, value of xk, value of probability mass function at xk is related to probability of ak. Similarly, we can get relation of a1, a2, a3. What is happening, it brings a partition of the sample space omega. Since why, if you take any two AKs, suppose AI and AJ, and if you try to intersect, then you will see that there is no common element between these two AI and AJ. Why? Because we know that it is just coming from the definition of function. Same point from the domain can't map to two point in the codomain xj or in the range. So xj and xi both are in the point in the range. So same point, same omega can't be mapped to 2 point in the range. So it a function can't be one many kind of relation. Anyone, would you like to comment? What is criteria of function? Function may be two kind of map. Either it would be one mapping or it would be many one mapping. But it can't. If there is a relation, that is the difference between relation and function. What does it say? If you are having a relation with map one many, then you say that that one is not a function in general. That function means single valued function. That would be function in multi-valued. That one is part of complex analysis. I am not covering that here. So that one is having a different application domain. And what is happening with the multi-valued function is that you have to come across branch point and branch cut kind of thing. So those are a little bit complicated kind of job. I am not covering that multi-valued kind of criteria here. Later for complex problem, you may need such kind of concept. So simply, I would like to say that here. The definition of random discrete random variable, it brings a partition in the sample space. So one is you have already seen that each any two AI happens to be mutually disjoint, and second, every element of outcome definitely it will every element of outcome definitely it will map to some xk. So that means it is bringing also exhaustiness. That means if you take union of a1 a2 up to an, so it will bring your sample space. So more geometrically I would like to say that, so if you take x1, it will be mapped to where a1. If you take x2, it will be mapped to a2. If you take xk, it will map to ak. And so the in that process you can say that a1 is a pre-image of x1. That means element of a1 has been mapped to x1, element of a2 has been mapped to x2, element likewise element of xk has been mapped to ak has been mapped to xk. So during this process what you observe that you don't see any common thing between a1 and a2, also a2 and a3, and like that way. So these a1 a2 ak, all these are mutually exclusive, also exhaustive in nature. So that's way the definition of a random variable bring a partition in the sample space. So it is one of the interesting characterization of discrete random variable, we can say that. So I will take you example, and before going to discuss about example, I would like to give three important property of discrete random variable. So all events involving the discrete random variable can be expressed as the union of a case, that means exhaustiness. And for example, suppose we are interested in the event in x2, and that one event, that means we are taking two value of any two value of the random variable x. One is x2, another one is x5. So what will happen then if you are trying to find probability of this these two event together jointly, x2 and x5, then that means we are finding probability that x is in this subset of range of x. Then we have to, in order to calculate this one, we have to go back to this event, that means event omega, such that uh, image of omega is equal to x2 union this event, probability this event. Okay, so what you observe that definitely we had in previous class we had already seen that each element of each value of random variable map to uh, distinct event or subset in sample space. So that's why this subset you can call it a2. This one is a2, and this is the image pre-image of x5. So you can call it a5. So both happens to be mutually disjoint. So if it is mutually disjoint, so probability of finding union can be expressed as just sum of these two probability. It is just a law of, it is directly coming from law of elementary probability. And we know that what is probability of a2 is nothing, just it is value of the probability mass function at point x2, and probability of a5 is nothing, just it is value of the probability mass function at point x5. So this is the criteria. So we calculate the, just it is we do summation in order to calculate this probability. Okay, so and before going further example, I would like to highlight few properties of probability mass function. First property say that probability mass function is always non-negative for any value of x. That means it must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Second property, it is saying that if you sum all the value of probability mass function, summation will be 1. This probability we are calling it normalizing property. First probability non-negative probability, second probability is normalizing probability. Second you can call it normalizing. Okay, so all these are very much important kind of properties. Anytime you need to apply all these properties. Anyone is having any question? Everyone is getting the meaning of all this? Sriniketan, do you have any doubt? Or Sagar, are you getting the meaning of all this? Are you listening me or not? Okay. So if you have any doubt, then ask just. Okay. I'm going forward. And last property is nothing, just what we did here. We are finding the probability of some value of random variables. So here B is what, it is not all the value of random variable, it is some value of random variable. So how you can calculate? So you just calculate probability of all those value of which are in B and sum it up. That is giving probability that X is in B, and B is a proper subset of range of random variable. Few example here, you can see it here. So tossing a coin thrice. So we are taking a coin and tossing thrice, where we introduce a random variable X, that is counting number of heads in the tossing of that coin three times. So what is here? So X definitely it is a random variable. You can say that it is a mapping from sample space. Your sample space will contain triplet, 8 number of triplet. If you try to look what is a sample space, just for your understanding, you always uh, write sample space here. Just these are because sample space here contains finite number of outcome, so easy to calculate. So it will start with head, and there would be in total 8 event, and last event I am writing it tail. In total there are 8 event, 8 outcomes. Here in this sample space there are 8 outcome. You know that all those outcomes. Okay, and here we have already introduced one random variable X. It is calling it is counting number of heads. So we have to find the PMF. So one table I had already mentioned that. We try to. So we know that X will take value. What are the possible value of X? Possible value of X would be, it will take either 0, or it will take 1, or it will take 2, or it will take 3. Can't go beyond 3. So these are the possible value of number of heads. So that if you toss a coin thrice, there will be either 0 head, or it will be 1 head, or 2 head, or 3 heads. So these are the possible values of random variable. Okay, so we are first trying to find value probability of X equal to 0. So X equal to 0 is this value 0 of the random variable. It is associated with which the event which is having 0 head, that means tail. So this one is having no head. And suppose P is probability of success, that means probability of getting head. A small p is probability of getting head. So this a small, I would like to write in a clear way. A small p, it is getting probability of head, probability of H. Simply I am writing in short. Okay, so in that process, if you try to find the probability of tail, so you know that the probability of getting tail would be 1 minus p, and there are 3 in this event. There are 3 tail, so all are independent. So easily you can talk about probability of tail is 1 minus p, probability of tail is second tail is also 1 minus p, probability of third tail is also 1 minus p. So that's way probability that X is taking value 0 is 1 minus p to the power 3. Similarly, X, what is the probability that that uh, X is taking value 1? So this probability you can say that, so X is taking value 1, when X will, that means there is only one head. X is equal to 1, that means there is only one head. So what are the possible events, outcome? So those are the outcome: head, tail, head, tail, head. So these are the possible outcome. And we know that this event is totally disjoint with respect to this, and this also is disjoint with respect to X. So easily you can calculate this probability separately, this probability separately, sum it up, because this event, and this event, all three are mutually exclusive. So that's where summation is coming here. Now, in order now coming to calculate probability of this outcome, head, tail, we know that head, getting head in the this X is talking about getting head in the first talk.
this tail is talking about getting tail in the second half. This tail is talking about getting tail in the third half. So and that's where this outcome happens in different tile. So that due to that it would be visually independent as well. So if you try to calculate probability of head tail tail, what would be? It would be product of probability of head is what? P. Probability of tail is 1 minus P. Probability of tail is 1 minus P. That means P into 1 minus P to 1 minus P to the power 2. And similarly here also this probability in total would be 1 minus P into P into 1 minus P. That means P into 1 minus P to the power 2. Similarly here 1 minus P to the power 2 into P. That means total 3 number is coming. So that's why 3 times 1 minus P squared into P is coming. Similarly, if you are trying to find value of probability mass function for x equal to 2, so it is just probability that x is taking value 2, and 2 that means it is talking about exactly 2 head. When you will get exactly 2 head, so these outcomes are having exactly 2 head. So head head tail, head tail head, tail head head. So we know that further this event is totally mutually exclusive with respect to this one. This one is also mutually exclusive with respect to one. So that's where this summation is coming. So all these summation came. Now, if try to find the probability of each individual event. So again, we will try to look into occurrence of these events, how it is happening. As it is talking about head of first event, getting head in the first trial. Uh, this head is talking about getting head in the second trial. This event tail, it is talking about getting uh, tail in the third trial. So that's the probability of this one would be product in nature directly multiplication with multiplication. You can calculate it would be P into P into 1 minus P. That means P square into 1 minus P. Similarly, it would be P into 1 minus P. P square into 1 minus P. This one would be P square into 1 minus P. In total, there are 3 with similar kind of probability. So sum would be 3 times 1 minus P into P square. Coming to that probability mass function for x equal to 3, it would be what? It would be just probability that x is taking value 3. 3 means number of head is 3, number of head count is 3. So that 3 is associated with what kind of outcome in sample space? That means 3 means it is associated with the event head 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 in the sample space. Or so that's why single event we are observing in this sample space omega. So this one. So what is the probability of this one? Individually, this first H, it is talking about getting head in the first trial. This is talking about getting head in the second trial, and this is talking about getting head in the third trial. That means there is a proper independency between these heads. So probability of this one is directly coming P square. So you got all the possible value of probability mass function. Suppose for simplicity, suppose your coin is unbiased in nature. That means it is a fair coin. So in that case, if you toss a coin, then there is a 50% chance that head will come, and also there is a 50% chance that tail will come. So in that case, you can say that probability of getting head or tail is 1 by 2. That means P equal to 1 by 2. So if you are taking from that perspective, and I had already mentioned that X is taking just 4 value. It is counting number of heads in 3 independent tosses of a coin. Those are 0, 1, 2. So what if when X is taking value 0, what would be value? It would be 1 by 8. That means 1 by 2 times 1 by 2 times 1 by 2. 3 times we are multiplying 1 by 2, and total product it would be what? 1 by 8. So what is the probability that x is taking value 0? Probability is 1 by 8. This is the probability of x. When x is taking value 1, what is the probability? Probability is 3 by 8. When x is taking value 2, what is the probability? You are getting 3 by 8. When x is taking 3, what is the probability? You are getting 1 by 2. So this graph, this is the plot of what? It is plot of, you can say that uh, plot of probability mass function with respect to value of random variable. That means you can say that it is a plot of a small px with respect to x. So it is a plot of probability mass function. It is also satisfying normalizing condition. That means if you sum this probability, this probability, and this probability and this probability, so summation always would be 1. You can sum it up. 1 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus a 1 by 8. Total sum would be 8 by 8. That means it is summation is 1. So it is satisfying every condition. First condition, you can observe that every probability for this value of random variable happens to be greater than or equal to 0. First criteria, that means non-negative criteria, it is satisfying non-negative criteria. Second criteria is, it is saying that uh, what a normalizing condition. Non-negative, first condition is non-negative condition, second condition is normalizing condition. You can say like that. Normalizing condition. If you sum it up all these probability, summation would be 1. And third criteria, it will satisfy if you take any two value of random variable and sum it up, then you can get probability of that event. So that means suppose you are taking any two value of random variable 2 and 3 together, then I will ask what is the probability that 2 and 3, that means what is the probability of 2 and 3 coming together. So this probability, these two value of random variable you are taking together, then what is the probability? Just you sum it up, 3 by 8 plus 1 by 8, that means 4 by 8, half, 50% probability is coming. Or you can define another kind of event, odd value or even value. What is the probability of odd value of that probability that random variable is taking odd value? So those also. So what are the odd values? Odd values are 1 and 3, and even value are 0 and 2. So those kind of things also you can introduce. Another example, same example, betting example here I have taken. So a player receive $1 if the number of heads in 3 tosses is 2, and that player again, uh, that player will receive an amount of or reward of $8 if the uh, coin is getting value, number of head is getting 3. That means x we have already introduced, it is talking about number of heads. X is the first random variable, it is talking number of heads, one random variable. Now we are introducing another random variable, uh, that is we are calling it rewards. So what would be pm of that, what would be pmo of that random variable y? So here, what are the possible value of y? So y is taking value 1 when you observe 2 heads, and y is taking value $8 when you observe 3 head, otherwise no reward, means 0. So that's why y is taking 3 values, 0 to 8. Sorry, not 2, 0 1 8, it is 1 reward, 0 1 1. So these are the possible value of y. So what is the probability of value of probability mass function for y equal to 0? So similarly, y equal to 0 is associated here, omega would come, event outcome we denoted by omega. Okay, so 0 is associated with the event which is having neither 2 head nor 3 head. That means either 0 head or 1 head. So what are those events? Those events would be tail. Here 0 head, you can say that x is taking value 0, or 1 head. So here TTH, it is here x is taking value 1. And if you are getting 1 head, won't receive, you receive nothing. That means you won't get any reward. If you are getting tail head, or your outcome is tail head tail, then you will again get 0 reward. So this one is also associated with 1. So all these are associated with 1. Here 1 head. So that's way a probability that y is taking value 0, it is just probability of this event. And you know that this event is mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusiveness is coming, and individually you try to calculate probability of tail. What would be 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, in total 1 by 8. And probability of this one would be also 1 by 8. Or probability of this one would be also 1 by 8. Probability of this one would be also 1 by 8. In total, there are four number of 1 by 8. So 4 by 8, and in simplification you will come to know probability is 1 by 2. That probability that y is taking value 0 is 1 by 2. Similarly, what is the probability that y is taking value 1? It is 3 by 8. And probability, what is probability of y that it is taking value 8? It is
1 by 8. So this is you are getting a proper distribution. If your value of y is 0, probability is what? 4 by 8. That means 1 by 8. And if you are taking y equal to 1, probability, what is probability you are getting? 3 by 8. If you are taking y equal to 2, probability is 0, because if you get number of it is 0, that probability of getting reward 2 is 0. There is no such a kind of $2 reward. There is no option of getting $2 reward. Also, there is no probability of getting $3 reward. Also, there is no probability of getting $4 reward and $5 reward and $6 reward. So all these are having zero probability. There is a zero probability of getting $2 reward, $3 reward, $4 reward, $5 reward, $6 reward. But there is a probability of 1 by 8 of getting $8 reward. When you will get $8 reward? When your outcome is 3. That number of 8 is 3. So that time. So this is the distribution of probability. If you sum up all these probability, summation would be always 1. So it satisfies again normalizing condition. Anyone is having any question? You can raise that question. Otherwise, I am going forward. I will take just one example, one more example, because we are very near to 45 minutes. So here I will introduce Bernoulli random variable from the example perspective. So what does it say? How when we introduce Bernoulli random variable? So consider A be an event of interest in some random experiment. E.g., we can say that the device is not defective. So that Bernoulli random variable is always associated with an experiment where you always associated with an event where you can see that with respect to that event you can do always two things, either this or that. Such kind of situation, like if you are tossing a coin, then either you will get head or you will get tail. So it is a Bernoulli in nature. Similarly, if you roll a dice, then there are six possibilities. One to get, you will get either one or two or three or four or five, six. But that one is not a Bernoulli in nature. So how we can see Bernoulli kind of things? There, if we introduce a partition like this way, event like this way, even number or odd number. So if you roll a dice, so simply sample space would contains number from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is the situation when you roll a dice. But here we can't introduce directly Bernoulli, but we can introduce a Bernoulli random variable. How? If you introduce event like this way, A, we are saying it even number, even phase. So what are the even phase? Even phases. So here two what things will come here? It will come 2, 4, and 6 will come together and complement. A complement will contains odd phases. So here A equal to 2, 3, 4. So from odd even perspective, we can even means 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, and odd will come in a complement. So here it automatically we can observe there is a clear kind of things that we have two kind of event, either odd or even. So from that perspective, this event A introduced a Bernoulli character. Okay. So now if we are having an event which is Bernoulli in nature, then we can introduce Bernoulli random variable IA, or this I directly coming from characteristics function as well. So IA, it will take value 1 when element outcome are coming from A is happening. That means outcome is coming from A. That means if you take here 2 is coming, that means that time IA will take value 1. Otherwise 0, it will take value 0. If things are coming from A complement, then IA, this function will take value 0. And here this I meant for indicator function, so we can define it like this way. So IA of omega, if omega, this outcome is coming from event A, then it is taking value 1. If omega is not coming from A, then it will take value 0. So this is indicator function, one kind of indicator function, or some people they are calling it characteristic function. That means if outcome is coming from given a specified event or event of interest, then indicator function will take value 1. And if that outcome is not coming from the given event, then that time the indicator function will take value 0. So this indicator function is actually it is a random variable. You can observe that if I'm asking what is the sample space, what is the domain of this one, clearly domain of this one is a sample space. So this indicator function is defined over complete sample space. Why? We know that if you take union of A and A complement, it will completely give your sample space. So here, and this indicator, this is criteria of being that omega is coming from A complement. This is criteria of being that omega is coming from A. So in that sense, we see that there is a clear partition of uh, what sample space. That means if you take A into A union, it will be always sample space. Always sample space. That means the domain of indicator function is complete sample space. So it is a well-defined random variable. One thing always remember that I had already mentioned that if you are having a random variable, somehow you come to know that it is missing any one of element of sample space. That means it is undefined for any one element of sample space. Then you can't claim that that function would be a random variable. For being a random variable, domain must be some complete sample space, and here you can observe that. So that's why indicator function, it is taking only two value. In the range of indicator function is there are only two values, 0 and 1. So this is a well defined random variable, and this random variable, it is having a particular name that we are calling it Bernoulli random variable. So you can say that here it is a finite discrete random variable with values 0 1, 0 and 1. It is taking only two values. And the probability mass function, you can call it what is the probability of that this indicator function or indicator random variable, it is taking value 0. It can be defined like this way, and that value would be 1 minus p. And probability that this indicator function is taking value 1, it can be defined like this way. The value probability is what? P. That is probability of success of it. So this one means success and 0 means failure. You know that in binary kind of input. So similarly, you can say that Bernoulli random variable is nothing, just it is a binary random variable. So you can say that it is taking a binary value. So Bernoulli random variable is taking binary value. Either it will take 0 or it will take 1. So binary. So range is always a binary in nature. It is already 45 minutes. So regarding attendance, you put your roll number there in comment box, and other things we will cover in next class. If you have any question,